game-changing technology for business going forward. What do you see in terms of your trend watching as being the thing that holds the most promise to just absolutely change the game of business?
There are several different things, right? I mean, listen, artificial intelligence is going to be the game this year from a hype perspective. I don't know if anybody's seen, some of these demos of Chat GPT, which is part of the OpenAI architecture that can, write a story, create music. We'll see what the real limitations of this at the end of the day are, and will press against people's fears about being technologically replaced. But there are things that are going to happen in the real world, from robotics to machine learning to longevity science, that may well be breakthrough developments in the next 1, 2, 3 years. When you look at things like robotics, last year was the biggest year for purchases of robots, both in the United States and other parts of the world. So I don't know if you saw this new prototype for McDonald's in Texas. And so we're short workers, right? So there's a McDonald's in Texas now that's experimenting with almost no individuals in the store. So even if you walk in to pick up, you go to a touch screen, you place your order, your order comes down on a conveyor belt. There are people making the food in the back, but there's no one there taking cash or interacting with you anywhere in the store. It's same with the drive-through. There's a conveyor belt that brings it right down to the window. Off you go. McDonald's is also experimenting with a robot that makes French fries. Taco Bell has a Detroit pilot program right now for a restaurant that is elevated 4 drive-through lanes. Your burrito comes down a pneumatic tube. You go on your merry way. Follows a similar path through you later in the day, sadly. But a lot of companies, given that we're short people, are going to be using, soft productivity enhancing software, robots, machine learning tools. I'm involved in a financial product that uses artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and machine learning to optimize portfolios. And this is even going to be true in the financial services business. So then when you look at longevity science, there are some breakthrough things that are happening. When Moderna is experimenting with a cancer vaccine for melanoma, and they're starting to get good results. There are a host of individuals who are working on enhancing the longevity of individuals with quality. And so there's a lot going on there. And I think that's in many ways most exciting, particularly for guys our age, that we might get a couple extra years out of this, hopefully healthy quality years out of it. But there's a lot happening. There is a lot to be excited about. We're going to get through this kind of odd disruption that we've had in the last 3 years, from 2020 forward. As a generation, we haven't faced challenges like this before. So it's really had a profound impact on worker psychology, on work-life balance, on the things that we, kind of came to rely on as being normal. It really shook the tree. And so I think to that end, we're still psychologically coming out, and it's hard to see, any bright lights on the other side of the tunnel without assuming it's an oncoming train. But I think once we get a much more normalized economy, which I think happens in the second half of this year, both domestically and around the world, assuming no massive geopolitical disruption. Hopefully the war in Ukraine comes to an end. Hopefully China doesn't do something stupid like invade Taiwan, and then we end up in a situation that only our, either parents or grandparents understood. But absent those types of things, it seems to me the world will start to normalize as we move through 2023, and there will be exciting opportunities once again. I know there's a lot of pessimism about science, about developing new ideas. I was just reading an article about that this morning. We seem to regenerate pretty well, and we seem to come up with new stuff all the time. And there'll be some scammy, nonsensical stuff that comes up somewhere along the way. And crypto will probably be part of that conversation again this year too.